few years ago, I was invited to give a retreat to a group of charismatic people in a suburb of Sevilla, which can best be described as the richest part of the city. After the Mass on Sunday, to end the retreat, a lady catches up with me and said, "Padre, I would like to continue the chat I had earlier on with you." So came the inevitable question, "Where do you live?" I said, "Su Eminencia, Virgen del Carmen." Then the lady exclaimed, "Oh, that suburb." That was after taking me through the history of the suburb, and it's a district that is very dangerous. So Eminencia, according to the latest index of poverty in Europe, it is one of the poorest suburbs in Europe and in the city of Sevilla. Later on my way back home, pondering about the chat with the lady, I asked myself the question, where would Jesus prefer to live if he should come now to Sevilla? The answer was obvious to me. Jesus primarily would opt for Su Eminencia again and again, where majority of the residents are migrants from Latin America, Africa, and Asia, and a large number of gypsy community. The dangerous and poor barrio, according to the lady, would be the preferred place of Jesus. I'm sure Jesus will mount a big kitchen where he will feed on daily basis the hungry, as we do now in Casa de Todo, in our parish. After nourishing them with the word of God, the food of the mountain in Galilee, where he fed the 1,000 with food, with a few loaves of bread and just a handful of fish. The marginalized by the world seem to be invisible to the world. Nobody talks about them, neither do they speak about themselves. They cannot denounce their situation because they are paperless, with no resident permit. They work clandestinely and live in inhuman conditions in apartments where most times there is no running water. Jesus for sure will still opt for the same program, which is the program of the prophets of all times, a mission to those favored by God, as described by Lucas chapter 4. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor, to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to set at liberty those who are oppressed, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord. The 18th General Chapter document of our congregation, number 26, states categorically that the renewal that we seek on a personal and communitarian level, the society of the divine word, will only be effective as we are rooted in Jesus, in his primary option, which is the common ground for everything we do. It is explicitly clear that our vocation is a call to option for the poor. Primarily, the option for the poor must not be seen as an outward attitude or a documental slogan of the society. Rather, it must be the core underlying inner attitude of our spiritual life as we opt to be the followers of Christ, to live his mission, which is our mission. A missionary of the new millennium must be fired by the desire to be Christ-like in his fundamental option for the poor, in line with the teaching and the tradition of the church, love for the poor. Our spirituality, therefore, must be a spirituality of the Beatitudes: poverty of spirit, hunger of thirst for justice, meekness of heart, and peacemakers. For as the adage goes, Nemo that God not haven't. We cannot give what we do not have. We can only give what we have. Those who are oppressed by poverty, excluded from our society, must be the subject of our preferential love. That is the only way we can be relevant today as missionaries. But this must be done with the attitude of the Good Samaritan, which are intelligence, compassion, and commitment, so as not to fall into the old rules of paternalistic welfare. That is the only way the kingdom so desired by God and preached by Jesus can be made a reality. In his conclusion remarks in an article, To Be a Christian in Europe, Possibility of Conditions, a quarterly booklet called CJ Quaderno number 218, Victor Cardinal said the church must open its door to the poor and the oppressed and the marginalized, those for whom the church was founded. The church must purify itself from the past by asking for forgiveness for its sins, for abandoning its core principle for which it was founded by Jesus Christ of Nazareth. The call by Pope Francis in his apostolic exhortation, Evangelii Gaudium, to build a poor church for the poor, a church that is outgoing, a church that cares for the earth, and announces to all the joy of the gospel will remain an utopia if we do not make the option for the poor the engine that drives us as missionaries.